We are 15 days away from the start of the NFL's regular season. And for today's Top 10 Tuesday, I wanted to focus on the 10 matchups that will define this season. And this is not exclusively game matchups. You'll understand as we go. It's themes, it's players, and yes, occasionally games. But let's get started at number 10 with Aaron Rodgers against Father Time. I would be fine not talking about Aaron Rodgers, to be honest with you, but he is one of, if not the most talented quarterbacks of my lifetime. Tom Brady is the GOAT. Patrick Mahomes is chasing the GOAT. But in terms of pure talents of throwing the football, I would argue that we have never seen anyone a better pure thrower of the football than Aaron Rodgers, and he's still doing it, and he's reunited with Mike McCarthy, and it is legitimately fascinating to still see him out there as long as it is about the football. And so he's trying to end the playoff drought in Pittsburgh. He's extending his career. One last ride for Aaron Rodgers. I'm locked in. It'll be a huge storyline this season.
I think he's got a great opportunity to be successful this year.
Yeah, you're buying. This is a predictions week.
You're buying this? I think he is lined up as good as he can be to finish out his career with Mike McCarthy, the weapons that they've added, the fact that he's a year healthier. I get it, he's a year older, but this is lining up for him pretty good.
Wow. Well, I mean, that's a predictions week tease right there. And you're a big coach. You're a big coach guy.
I am.
Yeah. You love the coach making a big impact on the player storyline.
Well, I mean, they were only together for a billion years.
Yeah, and it worked out pretty well. My guess is you'll like this one a little less. Number 9, Ben Johnson against the hype. I know that when Ben Johnson said he wants to have the greatest offense of all time, and he doesn't just want Super Bowls, he wants blowouts, he wants shutouts, he wants the greatest win streak in the history of the NFL. That's bulletin board material for 31 other teams. Hey, Ben Johnson, do you care if there's a target on your back? He's like, no. He's not scared. He's not running from it. So either he will live up to the hype, and it's fascinating because we've never lived to see the best offense in the NFL reside in Chicago, or he'll fall way short of the hype and he'll be mocked, and that will also be fascinating. So I'm here for it either way.
I hope the Bears defense plays better than it did the other day. I'll tell you that, Danny, because that's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. The one defense getting diced up by two offense. Can't have that happen.
Although again, Geoff, this is about Ben Johnson and the Bears offense, okay? If the defense gives up points, that's more chance for Caleb and the Bears offense to score points. Shootouts. You like action. You like Big 12 football.
Geoff, I love the way Danny's saying running from the hype like everybody else is hyping him up. It's not running from the hype. He's creating the hype. Like there is no running here. It's generating.
Yeah, Coach, we're at 1 though. We're at 1 Bears mention. I put it at 2.5. So we'll see how it goes today for Bears mentions on the top 10.
Take the over.
It's a really good number. It's a really good number. Coming in at number 8, no mention here for the Bears. Broncos against regression. The Bears are a regression candidate team. Oh, there's the mention. The Jaguars are a regression candidate team. The Patriots. But in Denver, they're like, we are a legitimate Super Bowl contender. We have a great roster. And I agree that they have a very impressive roster. But I think outside of Denver, there's a lot of, man, why did you play down to the Giants? Why did you play down to the Jets? Why did you play down to the Raiders? Why did you need 11 one-score victories if your defense was that good and your quarterback's that good and all that? But on the other side, if Bo Nix doesn't break his ankle, you're going to be in the Super Bowl. Worst point per game differential for a 14-win team all time, normally you backslide the next year. And it's kind of crazy that the worst point per game differential, meaning the lowest you've outscored your opponents but won that many games, are all in the last 2 seasons. It's kind of weird. That is NFL history. But 24 Vikings, 25 Broncos, 24 Chiefs. The following year, not that impressive. Wondering how much regression is coming for the Broncos. Coming in at number 7, though, matchups that will define the season, the NFC North. And yes, here's your Bears mention, but I will say this.
Is this a quarter mention?
Here's what I will say. It kind of is a quarter mention, because I'll mention Packers. The Bears could finish in last, they could finish in first. The Vikings could finish in last, they could finish in first. The Packers could finish in last, the Packers could finish in first. The Lions could finish in last, the Lions could finish in first. It's the only division you could say that about. Every other division, there's like, this is, the NFC West. It's a great division, but the Cardinals are clearly the worst. The AFC North, interesting division. The Browns are clearly the worst. But in the NFC North, you can make a compelling case for any of those 4 teams to be the best, any of them to be the worst, and there's probably whoever wins it is going to be real battle-tested and a really good team. I think it'll define the season in a lot of ways. This one is very obvious, but I'll get a little deeper into why. Number 6, NFC v AFC. I think the NFC is the conference of the great teams, and the AFC is the conference of the great quarterbacks. We talk so much about Mahomes and Allen and Lamar and Burrow and Drake Maye and Justin Herbert and Bo Nix and Trevor Lawrence and all of the quarterback talent in the AFC. And then the NFC, it's like, well, the Rams are the super team. The Seahawks just blew everybody out en route to a Super Bowl. Don't forget about all of those rosters in the NFC North that I mentioned. Which wins out? The best teams, the NFC like last year, or the best quarterbacks, the AFC, like it had been before that? Coming to number 5, this is where your mentions are going to come in, Geoff. Caleb v. Drake, baby. Now, part of this is me v. Wilds. Part of this is Week 7, Bears v. Patriots. But if the 2024 quarterback class is going to be like the 1983 quarterback class, you got Jaden Daniels Rookie of the Year in an NFC Championship game. You got Drake Maye, an MVP runner-up, and an AFC Championship. You got Caleb Williams, a Madden cover. You got Bo Nix, more wins and more touchdowns than any of the other guys. It's a legitimately fascinating quarterback class. Year 3, who separates themselves over the course of the year?
Danny only puts 2 guys on. He lists a bunch of guys and only puts 2 guys.
Well, I think that Caleb and Drake are the 2 guys most likely to be the best.
Shocking that you have Caleb on there.
Yeah,
I know. I'm surprised too. Is this the final year though? The winner of this competition this season never loses the mantle. Is this it? Like if Drake Maye is better, the rest of his career is better than Caleb Williams?
No, but they face each other this year.
Okay.
The expectations on Caleb, I think these are the 2 front runners, so they're like the avatar for the 24 class. But no, this is going to be it's a marathon.
Yeah, the expectations on the
are
number
going?
1 overall pick are just too high.
They're not too high.
Too high.
I'm raising them. Coming to number 4, an old school NFC East rivalry. Cowboys v. Eagles. This is fun because you remember for years it was, the NFC East, parity. There's never the same division winner 2 years in a row. Well, if you look at the 2024 division winners, that's who won the divisions. It was the Philadelphia Eagles who won the NFC East. Now, if you go to the 2025 division winners, the only one that is the same is the NFC East. So the first time in a long time you had back-to-back division winners in the NFC East. And if you can see there at the bottom, 7 of 8 new division winners last year. First time since 2011 we had that much turnover of division winners from one year to the other. I like the Giants this year. Not sure they're going to win the division. Don't see a real path for the Commanders. Those 2 classic NFC East teams doing battle atop the NFC East is going to be one of the biggest matchup storylines in the NFL this year. Coming in at number 3, could have called it S-Bob, but Brew's on vacation, so trademark to him. Lamar v. Allen. Now, there's a lot here. We could go legacy. We could go first to reach a Super Bowl. Can Josh win another MVP? Can Lamar win a 3rd MVP with a 3rd offensive coordinator? Obviously 2 of the best players in football, but also they play again this year. And if you remember back to last year, it was Week 1. We could throw it up there on the screen. It was one of the crazy games of the season last year, and it happened in Week 1. It was just a shootout. They were both amazing. There's a million ways to measure these 2 guys against each other. But if you pull up the actual schedule, like Week 8, there it is. You're going to see these 2 guys who at this point will probably both be playoff contention, both be MVP contention, and then Week 8 of the season, you're going to get Bills v. Ravens.
And you got 2 new head coaches replacing 2 longtime head coaches, so it's going to be interesting to see how everything around them unfolds.
Right, we'll be judging the Joe Brady success as well as the Minter success in Baltimore. All right, as we go to number 2, well, you can't deny this. The matchup is Mahomes v. old Mahomes. I expect Mahomes to be great, and I don't think the ACL is going to be a storyline once we're in the 2nd quarter of the first game. But Patrick Mahomes has not put up an MVP caliber regular season since 2022. Now, he was Super Bowl MVP in 2023, but he has not had a dominant, long stretch of games in going on his 4th season this year. The Chiefs were very good first 8 weeks or so of last year, sputtered a little bit, played better defenses, then he got hurt. So I do not think Mahomes will be the problem. But if Mahomes is chasing Brady and then he's chasing the ghost of himself in the past, he's not really chasing Allen or Lamar or Burrow. Can Mahomes get back to being what Mahomes was? Obviously one of the biggest stories for this year. And finally, an old school classic team matchup, Rams v. Seahawks. They were the two best teams last year. I had them 1 or 2 on every Top 10 Tuesday, I believe, from week 11 on of the season. Called the NFC Championship game the actual Super Bowl because the winner of that was clearly going to win it to me. As a reminder of how close these teams were last season when you include the playoffs, 2-1 record, combined score 88-85. Neither one had much trouble stopping the other when they got down in close. Belief is that the Rams roster got a little better. Myles Garrett kind of makes them a lot better, retooled their secondary. Seahawks obviously losing Kubiak, Kobe Bryant, Kenneth Walker, a couple others getting a little worse. How even that's going to be, I would say, got to give the love to the NFC Championship game from last year. The Super Bowl champions saying that Seahawks and Rams will be the matchup that once again defines this season. Guys, I assume we can move on. Coach Geoff, no notes, perfect top 10?
I would go ahead, Geoff.
I put the NFC North much higher because that's a competition between 4 teams. The one might define the NFC this year. So I'd put them maybe up in the top 4. I think Cowboys Eagles is a fun matchup, but the NFC North is a beast this year. And there's a lot of variables to schedule with the Lions, injuries with the Lions, coming back, the Vikings with Murray. There's a lot there. It's a meaty division.
I do think it's fun. Like I was thinking about, is there any other division that you could say, realistically, not just like in any given Sunday, like, is there any other division where you could say that any team could win it and any team could finish in last? Because I don't think anyone's going to make the argument that the Raiders could win the AFC West. No. I don't think anyone's going to make the argument
that the Cardinals
are going to win the NFC West. No. I don't think anyone's going to make the argument that Washington is going to win the NFC East. Maybe.
Maybe. I mean, I think they have as good a chance as the Giants do.
If you think that the Giants and the Commanders are live, maybe you'd put the NFC East there. But I still think there's a pretty big talent gap between Philly and Dallas, and there's certainly fewer questions about those teams at the top than the teams at the bottom. So it's rare that we have a division that is this strong, Coach, 1 through 4.
Yeah, it is, but it's exciting, and that's what makes the Ben Johnson predictions that much more interesting, is because he may finish last in his division just because the division is so talented, and the idea that any one of them could win it, that's what the NFL is looking for always, right? Where every fan base has that optimism, and that they legitimately have it in that division.
All right, so no notes?
So I had a lot of notes, Geoff. Okay. I had a lot of notes. I had so many notes that I had to put together my own list.
What?
So
what?
I had so many notes that I had to throw my top 10. I don't know if we can
This is an outrage.
A copy of it.
I mean, a monocle here?
Number 7 is probably the most obvious. It's Coach and Greg against the field and upset alert. We're back-to-back champions there.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Brew versus Jackson Blade. That's another one of my favorites.
This is good.
Danny's picks versus Nick's picks. That's very interesting.
That's a classic.
49ers versus injuries. So there's a lot of, I could go on, but I'm going to go with the first one. It's Justin Herbert and Mike McDaniel versus the MVP race. And every year we talk about Justin Herbert, and I fell into Tim as my de facto MVP candidate after my first one got hurt, and it's about he doesn't have the right head coach. Well, he's got the right head coach now. He doesn't have the right supporting cast. Look, they won 11 games last year with the volume of injuries that they've had, and they've won 11 games in back-to-back years with a lot of different challenges. Then it was the offensive coordinator. Greg Roman wasn't the right guy, so they bring in Mike McDaniel. All the great things that Mike McDaniel did for Tua in Miami. So at some point, it's got to stop being about what that player needs, and it's got to be about what that player brings, and he's got to be in that discussion. And if he doesn't win it, I think this is the year that Danny gets his Justin Herbert tattoo removed from his leg. I think it's you just got to give it up.
First of all, what a betrayal by the production staff.
The list was outstanding.
It was your list was spectacular. I always knew you were jealous of my top 10 list, okay? So we can
No, this is flowed. Yours are so flawed. It was like flow of consciousness that hit me.
That's perfect top 10, coach. No notes. People confuse excuses and explanations. I was not making an excuse for Justin Herbert. I was explaining why it was no longer reasonable to hold last year's team to the standard that I held them to before the start of the year. 10 different offensive line combinations, and 2 of their 4 highest paid guys got hurt and were out for the season, and they played the same position, and that position was protecting the quarterback, who's the highest paid player. That's going to derail a lot of things, and to your point, even with all that went wrong, they still won 11 games. So if they have a season where just a league average amount of things go wrong, or heaven forbid, they actually are on the lucky end of injuries. We talked yesterday about how luck factors in. Like if the Niners get injury luck this year, they are talented enough to make a run. Like if the Chargers have a good injury year, I don't expect to be making any excuses or explanations for the Chargers, and I think that they'll be a Super Bowl contender.
And we could say that, but the offensive coordinator lost a job, right? So obviously he must have been part of the problem. And how many other guys have cycled through there where it's not the right head coach, it's not the right offensive coordinator, it's not the right supporting staff, it's not the right this, it's not the right that. At some point, he's got to make that situation right. And typically, franchise quarterbacks are called that because they change franchises. And it's not the other way around.
I think with Mike McDaniel, this is the last time we have any sort of excuses for Herbert. Even with the offensive line injuries so far, this is it. Like they gave him a great offensive coordinator. He's got weapons around him. Like it's now time for the excuses. Whatever they are, and I'm a Herbert guy, whatever they are, it's over with, right? Like it's time for him to win now.
Got to win playoff games. And yeah, I'll even say, got to win playoff games, plural, this year. Those are the expectations that will be holding the Chargers to this year.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.